this hot tub maintenance video, our water got a little dirty, so we're gonna empty it out. We're gonna clean the hot tub and we're gonna put the water back in, and we're gonna show you how we clean our hot tub, both on a daily basis as well as what appears to be like a monthly, bi-monthly basis, or what will be a monthly or bi-monthly basis. Our cover actually deflated a little bit over the last couple of weeks as well, so in this video we're also going to inflate the top of the hot tub. In this video, we're also going to document how I typically clean the filter, and we're going to also change this one. It's due for a change anyway. I'll be honest, right from the get-go, I really have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm learning on the fly, and this is good practice for me as well. So if you have any tips or tricks, feel free to put them in the comments so that we can all learn from each other. So one thing that we've learned is the buckles on this hot tub are actually really good, but they're a little annoying / frustrating to undo and to buckle up as well. They have 3 actual buttons that you need to press in order to release it, and you need to make sure that that top one doesn't get jammed when you're putting the cover back on and buckling it up. I think the idea behind it being so secure with the 3 different release points is so that obviously it covers the spa water from weather, but also so that children and pets can't get in as easily. If you don't want to miss out on the upcoming chemicals video for this hot tub, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. Yeah. Yes, good girl. Nice shirt.
And we're back.
We lost some air in the top, so we're going to fill that up a little later. But right now we're going to take this off so I can get the water out. When you're taking it off, be cognizant. See how this is folding in a little bit, the flap? So the stuff on the top, if you don't keep this spotless, can sometimes sneak into the hot tub. So what I like to do is keep that lip up as much as I can. Some stuff's gonna get in, but depending on where you have it, if you like, that's the nice part about having some type of enclosure over it. It will mitigate some of that. But
because this is just pollen and like lawn right now from the wind.
So as you can see, some of it got in there. I kind of did that on purpose just to show how easy it is to have it happen.
Nice and warm though.
Yeah, it's sitting at 104. Yeah. I think the next step is that we turn the heat off. Oh, first we got to unlock it. And you actually don't need to press super hard. You just have to hold your finger over it, and it'll go out, and then we're going to turn off the filtration system.
So when it's green on that wavy flame looking thing, that means the heat is on?
When the heat button is green, it means it's at the desired temperature that you have preset. So it takes a couple of seconds for the filtration system to shut off, but once that's shut off, we are good to start pulling this out, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't know if you can see what my hands are doing, but this guy just screws off and it screws back on. It's supposed to put it in, but this is your bromine or your chlorine holder.
Yeah, where the little pucks go?
Yeah, so you just twist this. The little tabs line up with the hole. And it slides out, and you can see your little pucks inside. So we'll just set that off to the side because we're going to do kind of a major maintenance here. But this one, the bottom one, the bigger one, is the same idea. It just twists off. I try to and you always want to shut that off when you're checking these 2 things. when you're checking to make sure that your tablets are still good. And when you're checking, this is the filter, so I'll show you here in a second. When I take the filter out, I always try to get most of the water back in. It doesn't really matter right now because we're taking all the water out, but just to show you what I do so that it doesn't, so you don't have to keep putting new water in. But as you can tell, this tub is filthy and needs to be cleaned. We are slowly learning. So
Our water was really grimy, but the shock seemed to clear it up a bit, but it still needs to be cleaned.
Yeah.
Because there's dirt collecting.
Yeah. And I think that's because we're just learning now that we're supposed to have a shower before and after. So before is more for the tub so that you don't bring a bunch of oils and chemicals and sweat and whatever else you got in there, hair and belly button lint or whatever the case may be. So it's bad enough with a dog and being out in the country getting pollen and lawn and stuff just from being outside in the air. But as you can see, this is quite dirty. We've actually cleaned it quite a few times, and I'm sure it would last longer right now if I cleaned it. But all you do to clean it, we'll show another video later with the new one. It's very quick and easy. Shut your filtration system off, unscrew this, unscrew this again, pull this out, and then all you do is take your hose it down, make sure you get in between. I usually go one way and then I'll flip it around and go the other way, and you can actually see the difference when all the dirt and grime comes out. So it'll turn a nice bright white. So put that there for now, and then we'll get our trusty little pump system here. So this guy we just picked up from Canadian Tire. It's just it's a half horsepower, I think, something like that, or 1/5 horsepower or something. Submersible pump, should say on it. Yeah, 1/5 horsepower. For something like this, it should work okay, I think. I'm by no means an expert.
Let me see the front. Just Mastercraft submersible utility pump.
Yeah. This is kind of what this pump is made for, I think. So all I'm going to do is take my hose and screw it onto the only part of the pump that you can screw it onto. And then and before we started the video, all I'm doing is throwing the pump in there, letting it go down to the bottom. And before we started the video, we had the hose running down slope into the bushes there.
Yeah. There's a ditch down there, it will drain out.
Yeah, so wherever you want your expended water to go, that's what you want the other end of the hose. And the other end of the hose is completely open. This pump in particular doesn't have an on-off switch, so it should just start up as soon as I plug it in, which it sounds like it did. And the water's going through. So we'll go down to double check to make sure everything's good.
You can see the level going down already on the tub.
Oh, okay.
Like if you just watch the lines.
Yeah.
It's not super fast, but there's definitely. See?
Yeah. So you can see the water level going down already. You can see how dirty the tub is. It doesn't take much to get dirty. We've had the tub for what? A month?
3 weeks? A month?
3 weeks?
Yeah.
Something like that.
That's quiet. I thought it was going to be loud. It's nice and quiet.
It's also underwater.
Oh yeah, I still expected more sound.
Yeah, you can't hear it at all.
And what I found with this hot tub that I didn't think about, but we might have to get the vacuum. Is that like along the lip? Like the bubble lip?
Right over here.
Yeah, like I find dirt, specifically like rocks, little pebbles will collect in there. And you can see it just
That's part of the problem too of like having it here, because as you can see, we come out this door and then we just kind of travel right in. So if you had it up on a deck, especially like a nice new deck, you'd be probably way better off, especially if you're wearing some type of sandal or something to get out to it.
Yeah, we could be better.
But right now, even if we shower, we're still going to pick up some stuff. So make sure you wipe off your feet. If you had your hose close by, you could give your feet a little rinse before you jump in.
Yeah.
Or step in, I should say.
Yeah.
It's still going down?
Yeah, it's down to the minimum line now.
Pros and cons of the hot tub would be what?
Start with the pros.
Okay, so pros, bang for your buck, it's awesome. It's a good test if you're not sure if you want to get a real hot tub or not. It gives you a good idea. It reminds you how much maintenance there is with a hot tub, whether it be chemicals, cleaning, upkeep, whatever. So it's a really good like entry level to see if it's your thing or not, to see if you're going to use it or not, how much you're going to use it, is it worth it, all that kind of stuff. Because we paid about $8.50 for this.
On sale?
Canadian plus tax, and it was on sale. So like roughly $1,000. Plus we put the pavement stones, like the patio stones, under it, just to give it some more stability. But I mean, $1,000, especially if you had a deck that you could put it on that was strong enough to support it and didn't have anything important underneath it, you could do it for about $1,000 Canadian. And you can get bigger ones. This one's one of the smaller models. I would say that's one of the downfalls, is it says 2 to 4 people, but the issue is that what we find, Stacy and I have found, I'm about 6 feet, 200 pounds, give or take, and Stacy's what, 5'9"? 5'8",
What?
5'7"?
5'4"?
You're not 5'4".
Yeah.
Are you?
Like 5'3.5".
So she's apparently 5'3.5", and we can fit 2 of us in very comfortably. We can stretch our legs out, the whole 9 yards. You can sit there very comfortably with 2 people. 4 people you could probably put 4 in, but there's 2 issues. One is that you're going to be very close to them, if not on top of them. Mm-hmm. And the other issue is that the water level, if you're at the max line here, it's probably going to overflow. You're going to lose a lot of water. Downfall would be the air and the thing. I don't know, maybe you're supposed to put them flat, but the air in the cover started going down pretty much right away.
Yeah, so whether we didn't have it like closed properly or
who
pumped
knows?
up enough.
Who knows? We're gonna find out a little more when we pump it up this time. Downfalls were the instructions were terrible, which is why we made another video. You should check it out.
We relied on a video to get it. We relied on one video to get us through. Yeah. So we tried to make a more comprehensive one, I would say.
Exactly. So, yeah. Other than that, like pros are, it fills up in no time. What was it? Half an hour, 45 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, like around under an hour mark.
And then it says to be prepared for like 3 or 4 days for it to get up to temperature if you're bringing it up to 104 or 40 Celsius if you want.
But it took what, 36 hours, 48?
Something like that. It was about a day and a half.
Yeah. It wasn't bad.
It was shy of 2 days that it was right up to temperature, and it was very cold when we, like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, or whatever it was.
Colder outside.
Yeah.
And it's just cold, like tap water that goes in from the hose.
Yeah. Downfall would be that it doesn't hold its temperature, especially like when the top is off, and especially when the top's off and you have the bubbles going. If you have the bubbles going, it goes down quite quickly. But again, it doesn't take long for it to go back up to 104. So what we usually do is we'll get in at 104, and then like we'll typically save the bubbles until the very end, and like that way we can just get out afterwards.
Yeah.
And that way if it goes down super fast, it's not a huge concern because we're getting out anyway.
Yeah, and it doesn't hold 104 well, but it will hold
100 and above.
Like 100, 102 quite comfortably, I would say, because we don't feel rushed. Like we can be in here for half an hour, and it will go down probably to 100 by that hour.
Yeah.
And then when we turn the bubbles, it'll start to...
Yeah, and again, that was when it was really cold. So.
Yeah, and we've had some really cold wind, and that takes your heat away, so...
There is a drain that you can use. I don't know if you want to show the inside and the outside of the drain. I'm not going to use that. I'm using the pump. But
there'll be a lot of water coming out wherever you have it set up.
Yeah.
It just drains out.
Yeah, while that's going, I'm going to use the bathroom.
Alright.
So while it's draining, I'm going to try to... It shouldn't be too hard to get this out. So this just fits in like this. I don't think we showed this on the setup video.
No.
But just comes apart like this.
Do we pump it up outside of the cover or inside the cover?
Inside, but we're going to wash it.
Right.
Sprayer here. It's just a spray bottle that we got at Dollarama, and we put half vinegar, half water.
Okay.
So again, we don't really know what we're doing, but we're going to try this, see if it works, and then in the next video we'll let you know if it worked or not, and how well. Edges.
I'm going to get down and do that.
Sure, if you want, if you don't mind.
I
Do you mind?
No.
Thank you.
scrub over it?
Yeah, just try not to get the lettering too much.
Oh,
I tried to stray around it. Just because the vinegar might take off some of the lettering. So she's just taking a brush and obviously giving it a good brushing. The better the brushing, the more clean it'll stay, hopefully.
Hose it off.
Yes, exactly.
Kind of loosening up all the pollen and dirt.
Yeah. While she's doing that, we'll check on the tub. It's going down pretty good. I'd say maybe 10 minutes have gone by, something like that. Thereabouts, 10 or 15. Doing an excellent job. She's doing an excellent job.
Thank you, Claire. I think it looks dirty because everything's wet and loose right now.
Yeah. Just wearing my shirt, so you'll have to excuse her hairy armpits. Just kidding.
All right. I wonder if we can hang it over that pole on the lip so that when we rinse it, it'll run off instead of pool.
Ooh, that's smart. So we're just going to take it, put it on this post in the middle of nowhere that we're still not sure 2 years later. Now it's here. She's going to make it perfect.
Yeah. The hose will reach over?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, we could turn the water on. Okay.
You hurt your face. Still really warm. I was hoping it would cool so I could give her something to drink. I think she's getting it though. It's cooled off a bit. Is that good?
So basically you just do the same thing to the other side under that lip. Show you. Watch your feet. So if you come right over. So you do the same thing. Get a good scrub on in there. And rub this all out. And just close it down. No Tikka. Nope. You can do this on the ground. We'll just have it up. Just so you have a good idea for all the water and vinegar and stuff can come down onto the ground.
You got me right on my forehead. A direct hit.
Back over here. Take the tub. Still doing good. Give this a spray. Tikka. Nope. This side, Tikka. Tikka.
She can't resist.
Alright. Let them dry out.
So how long would you say it's been so far for the pump? Because we're within the last like 5 inches of the pool.
20 minutes, 25 minutes, somewhere.
Yeah. So decent pace.
Yeah.
What we'll have to do is get the shop vac, maybe.
Oh.
To suck all the dirt out that way?
Yeah.
Probably a good idea.
It is probably a good idea. Actually, before we shut that down, try this guy. So this is just a Coleman fast deflate.
Fast inflate.
It says fast deflate.
Because it deflates and inflates. If you, It's for like blowing up mattresses and pool toys.
Coleman quick pump, 120 volt. So.
How many horses is a 120 volt?
I don't know. So we're just going to take this guy, pull him out, and we'll stick this guy in, and then you should pull him out.
Ready?
Yep. Stick this guy back in. So one thing you'd have to be careful with not using the inflator thing that it comes with is that you don't overinflate this with that pump.
But it went quick.
Very quick.
I'm hoping it'll be good for my paddleboard.
Yeah.
Manager. And I was gonna suggest taking her for a swim, but I don't know if you need it, Tikka. How are you?
So as you can see, it's getting pretty close to the bottom, so I'm going to go like this. Slide this over here. Like that. So that I can bring some of the water down to it. So all I'm doing is lifting up on this handle and bringing some of the water down to that end. Work smarter, not harder. That way hopefully the pump can take care of most of the job. and take out the majority of the water. So as it got down towards the bottom, I just unplugged it so it won't ruin the pump. Pull the pump out. So our Vanna White here will jump in the hot tub.
Do you want me to scrub it first or vacuum some of the loose dirt?
You could probably vacuum first. It's up to you.
Yeah.
She's going to take her DeWalt shop vac here, a little mini DeWalt shop vac.
The best vacuum.
I have another one downstairs that's high powered.
This is perfect for cleaning up vehicles.
Yeah.
Because I can haul it around. It has a battery adapter.
Yeah, you can put a battery in. Right there.
Have to have the plug, which is great because you're not fighting with a cord through your vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Mind the noise.
as before. So the better job we do here, the easier it's going to be to maintain while the hot tub's running with water inside of it. So she's just making sure she gets a good coating. I don't know if she just tooted or not, but...
That's my feet.
Choose to believe her feet.
I'm probably overkilling it.
Well, I don't think you can when it comes to a hot tub. You want to make sure that it's nice and clean so you don't get bacteria, you get rashes and whatever else.
Alright, let's try that. This will help loosen up the stuff on the edges here.
So this is just a pool brush type thing, spa brush that we got at Canadian Tire. Nothing super fancy, but...
I think it's Aquarius spa brush.
So she's going to give it a good brushing. So she just said with the lid or the cover of the hot tub, pollen and grass gets everywhere. So she's just wiping down the screen and the motor, whatever that is.
The engine bay.
Giving it a good scrub. Realistically, we should unhook it, pull it out, give it a good...
Like flush the hoses.
clean.
That can be when we shut it down and stuff. Like,
yeah.
But this way there's just less, because there's lots of spiders. And...
She's using the same cloth with the water and vinegar solution. Oh, realistically, we should have unplugged it first, just so that everybody's aware. I don't know if you can get a view of this or not, but... So what we're going to do is... I think what's happening.
I don't know if that comes out.
Okay, so it took a little bit of figuring out, but this piece, see if I look down here. So this piece screws into the number one hole here. Oops. But if I can show you, so this is attached with this little thing here, and it actually screws on. What was happening was this was super tight, this top piece, and we couldn't unscrew it, so I had to put this part in the vice grip, and then I was able to get this loosened. So we'll screw this guy back in. We'll take our handy dandy little thing here. Now it doesn't leak. We'll put this guy back on. Hopefully without running any of the threads. So we rinsed it out with water.
Mm-hmm.
And take the handles, dump the water out, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Make sure it's nice and clean.
Looks pretty good in there.
No.
The water's on.
So I was ridiculous, didn't follow my own instructions. And I filled this up before I put it into the sleeve. So we're gonna unplug it. See if we can get a good grip. It's kind of wet. There. And then the sleeve.
Give a little squeeze. That's probably good.
Okay, now get this guy.
Tuck it in, tuck it. Do you want the cloth to wipe that off? All the grass?
Yeah. This is the hard part about our setup. Is there's so much grass and whatnot.
Yeah.
Floating around. But no matter how clean you get it, it's always gonna attract.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't hear any escape that time. I can take that back out front. So, will you update on chemicals or do that in a separate one? Just talk about how you chemicalize
we'll do
it.
That in a separate one.
Okay.
Now you decide to drink. So all we're doing here, pulling the tub over, I'll get Stacey's hand on this side, just to make sure it doesn't fall in. Got it?
Yeah.
And then I'll go around and do the buckles.
You can do them loose while the hose is in, or?
Well, it'll fall in.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, I guess we could only do maybe two if we...
Yeah, so it doesn't blow away.
Yeah. And all we did that for was so that stuff doesn't get in it while it's filming.
Mm-hmm.
filled up. Hey.
There's just a lot of pollen and stuff flying around still.
Yeah, and if this
and
looks
it's supposed
awkward,
to torrential rain tonight.
It actually sits on the water, so once the water fills up, it'll be...
Yeah.
What time did you say we started?
10 to 4. 10 to 4. So it's only been another 4 minutes. And we had to pull the hose out to rinse and stuff, but what I like about the cover is that all in my 5'4", even though I look 5'9", the cover's actually pretty light to lift out. Like, it's big and awkward, but it's easy to get on and off.
Yeah, and then you can see grass on this again just from us having it in the grass. Yeah. So we'll give this another rinse.
Yeah, I could even wipe the pollen off again.
And then, like I said, you're supposed to shut the whole unit off, unplug it at the very beginning, which we should have done. And then once the tub's full again, everything's set up and plugged back in, because realistically you should unhook that from the tub as well. So hook it back all up, hook it all back up and plug it back in. Then you can turn it on. Check our last video on how to do that. And that's just the regular setup of the tub. So once it's filled up, it's the exact same. And then we'll do another video hopefully soon on the chemicals, what we do for the chemicals, which will be different everywhere, but you'll get an idea of what we do for ours. Hopefully it'll help. But it's good for us to have. We actually, our last video we had of us doing the whole setup when we bought it and putting it up, start to finish. And I'm really glad that we had that documented on YouTube, because when we had troubles with the plug here, trying to refill the tub with air, we were having a hard time getting that off, like I explained, and the cap off. And we were able to figure out what was happening because we went back and looked at our old video and saw how we did it. So it was a good thing that we had that. And yeah, hopefully it helps. And that's how we clean our tub, or at least how we did it the first time. This will be the first time, so take it with a grain of salt.
Learning along the way, right?
Yeah, and we'll hose down the outside. Realistically, the outside should be washed too, but we'll hose it down once this is full of water, and kind of go from there. And
yeah.
See how it goes. But we're starting to get a little bit of rain now, so we're gonna take things inside and let this fill up, and like I said, we'll shut the water off and we'll turn the unit back on, and then we'll wait probably a day or two before it heats up and get the chemicals sorted, hopefully get another video out, and then we'll enjoy the hot tub again.
So he just started it. There's a little bit in there now, just filling the bottom almost to the holes, and it is 10 to 4 exactly.
Okay, so unhook that one. So we filled it up. It's about 4:15 right now, and oh my god, we actually.
No, it's 4:45.
Yeah, 4:15. It's 4:45. No, sorry. I'm ridiculous. I need to lie down. Okay, so it's 4:45, and it actually, we filled it up way too high. It came right up to, it was almost overflowing. So I had to take a little bucket, like a clean bucket, and scoop some stuff out. You can see where it's wet there. But it wasn't hard. I just had to scoop some stuff out.
There's no harm.
Yeah, no harm. It was a waste of water, but it's okay.
You watered the grass.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take this guy off. I don't know if you can see or not, but I try to let it hang over the tub.
We almost need like a little pool vacuum.
Yeah.
Water's nice and clear from the hose.
Yeah, so there's like some stuff in there probably from that when we lifted it on. But we're gonna get a little pool vacuum and vacuum that stuff out. It's nice and clean.
And it will come out with the little skimmer net we have too. Like it
Yep.
just...
And so as promised, these guys, so you want to give these a quick wipe, which we didn't do. But give them a quick hose down, maybe a quick wipe if necessary.
Don't want to go do it?
No, it's
Just
okay.
in the sink?
It's okay. Just make sure there's no hair and that kind of stuff in it. Make sure it's nice and clean. Chasing a squirrel or something. So you want to make sure that you get the right filters.
SALUSPA extras. So they come in a pack of 2?
Yeah. This one did anyway. So some of them will actually, they'll look the same, but they're not. They're not the right size. So make sure you get the right ones.
Is there a way to tell, or you just match it with...
Well, this is SALUSPA extras, and it's
6?
6. So, like Bestway, I don't know. That's the way. This is how.
Like, does the box tell you what filter it needs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and so I think the manual does as well.
Okay.
And it's the same one that it comes with.
Gotcha.
So, put them on there. Put this guy on. They just line up like so.
All right.
Take this guy, and he just screws in there. Except not on that end. He just screws in here,
It's the nipple.
and that should lock him up nice and tight. And then this guy goes on the bottom. So
Put
you
in the
put your
bigger
hand
one?
down. It's nice and cold right now on my arm, and I
Your
can
sleeve.
see where the bubbles are coming up. So let those dissipate.
Just hang on.
Oh
So
my
it
God.
turns on? Like it twists on?
Yeah, it twists on.
Cold cramp?
Oh my God. It hurts so much.
Oh, it is very cold. I was like, stop being a ninny, but it's really cold.
Okay.
Cold water rinse for your arm.
So then just make sure you got some pucks left in here. I find this weird. So the pucks that you get don't really fit in here.
Yeah, it's awkward.
So sometimes you have to kind of crunch it down, but so you just line these guys up, this little Tikka doodah with that little doohickey, and then twist it, and then you decide how strong you want the chemicals to come out. So it goes up to 4 little ticks, and however many of those are visible is how much chemicals come out. So right now it's on the smallest setting possible, 2nd setting, 3rd setting, and that's the most chemicals that you can probably have come out at one time. And this is where you keep your chlorine and your bromine.
So we typically have been leaving it on the strongest after a
We
little
have for
trial and error.
hours, yeah, and it really depends on your water, right? Like, but we get lots of little floaties, we get lots of whatever in here.
Yeah, I don't know what our water is, but I know like even in the shower at home, like it's heavy or hard water.
It is hard water, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and we're gonna, yeah, we'll do a chemical video as soon as we can. So this one goes on the one right above that guy. Once the bubbles dissipate, you'll see.
You're tooting.
Oh my gosh, that's cold.
You're doing excellent.
Oops. So
Cold
just twist
never
on there.
bothered him anyway.
Put your arm down there and keep it down there. Oh my God.
It is very cold.
Keep it down, keep it down.
Keep it down, keep it down, keep it down. Go on, keep it down.
Oh yeah, make me look like a pansy.
Remember that time we did the cold rinse challenge?
So we filled it up to the max. We're at the max line there. You make it a little bit of overflowage whenever we get back in. Good girl, come here. Good girl. Come on.
What did you find?
What were you chasing? Did you get it? See it? Good girl. Oh, sorry. Good girl. You were busy hunting something. Flip this guy up after you plug it in. So plug it in.
Do you have to turn it on and then plug it in?
What? No, plug it in and then turn it on. Yeah, it has to plug it in to turn out.
I didn't know if you turned it on already.
Oh, I did, but yeah, so plug it in, turn it on, and then now we want, it's 73 Fahrenheit, so we'll turn it on. Oops, we'll have to unlock it. And then, so you can see it's at 73. The hours is just how long we have the temperature setting set for. We turn the heat on, which automatically turns on the filtration system. And you can see it's starting to work already. So that's that. We'll have to get a little vacuum and clean up the little tidbits that get in there after.
Well, and we could stir it up too and get some with the net for now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And what I might end up doing is putting, like, I might put some pallets or something down here so that it's not laying on the freshly cut grass and then, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
But we got a lot of the grimy pollen and stuff. This is no worse than like a pool.
Well, it's clean now. It's just dirt. Yeah.
It's clean now. It's just dirty.
It's clean. It's not dirty. It's messy. Something like that.
Sanitized.
Yeah. So we'll put the cover back on. You have to leave the cover on if you're not using it. Otherwise, like we said earlier, the temperature will go down very fast, very quickly. So if you're not using it, you have the cover on. And the cover just sits down on top of the water, and that's it. You clip it in.
You gotta be careful with those that top clippy doesn't get caught when you're pushing them in.
So what she means is this guy, the middle one, I think is what you meant.
Yeah, sometimes it'll try and go up above, so you gotta make sure you steer it down.
So the fabric's getting in the way there. So when you bring this down, sometimes you can miss the middle one and it'll bend that. But you want to put that inside and then push down. And then
It seems
zip these.
obvious, but
Yeah.
in the winter, or in the night,
When you're
I
cold,
found sometimes if I was rushing, yeah, and they don't, like they can bend.
there was something else I was going to say though. All in all, I would say that we're very happy with it.
Yeah,
Um,
there's a little learning to go with it, but I love it.
it's a lot of learning, and I question whether or not, like, I think never having owned a real hot tub, I think these require more maintenance for numerous different reasons, but I don't know, I feel like if we take good care of it, it could last at least a year, if not. I mean, the guy at Canadian Tire that sold it to us said that there was a guy that he worked with at Canadian Tire who had one for, what was it, 4 years, 3 years or something?
Yeah, like this may have been his 4th year for it.
Yeah, so I mean, the way that we look at it is, even if we get a year out of it, if you had to replace it every year, I mean, you're looking at about 10 years before you get up to the cost of, you know, a real hot tub, right?
Yeah.
So for the sake of trying it out, using it for my muscles and a treat for you, and like, you know, testing out whether or not we actually use it, which we do.
And it feels so good after a day of work.
Yeah, it was well worth the investment. I'm trying to think if there's any other pros or cons. I mean, cons, you can't sit on the edge. You know, if you just want to put your feet in.
Yeah.
I'm sure you could get some type of chair, like a blow-up chair or something for it.
I feel like you could. It's just not recommended for the integrity and.
Yeah.
Like,
So, you know, yeah, you can't sit on the edge. Takes a while to heat up. Doesn't hold the heat. But like, honestly, it's still worth it. Like, it's so good to have a hot tub without the expense.
And I'm pleasantly surprised by the bubbles and how they feel. Looking at just a ring around, I wasn't sure, but it actually feels really nice on the back and on like the arms and stuff.
Yeah. So I think, you know, if we like knowing what we know now, if we had the money and we own the place that we're living, I think, you know, we're gonna put a real hot tub in, and this has made that decision for us. But I also think we're gonna use this until it's dead.
100%.
Like, so hopefully we'll get a few years out of it.
At least until I'm done school.
Yeah, like you still got 2 years left of school, so hopefully it'll last 2 years. I mean, I'm already impressed that it's not dying, you know, it's still thriving. So
yeah, and we're still working out the chemical equation, and like you said, it's been really cold out.
Yeah.
So it may keep a more constant temperature when it's not as cold outside.
Yeah. And we've done a terrible job of like keeping it clean. And
we're learning all the things.
That kind of stuff, right? So.
And I mean, we can update later if you'd like on, like, the power bill only comes every 2 months, but I don't think it's gonna add too much. But if people wonder,
the fan, like you said.
Yeah, or the air conditioner that we used last year didn't really change lots. I don't think it's drawing too much because it's just a normal plug.
Yeah. I mean, chemicals you go through a bit. We're lucky with our water. It's fairly pH balanced, so we're fairly good that way. We just need to get better with the shock. I think we were originally told to shock it once a week, and I don't think that's nearly enough. I also found out after reading the shock bottle, it literally says on the back of it to put some in after every use.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, I feel like that's what we're going to try now, but we wanted to give it a really good go and kind of do some different things so that when we go to do the chemical video, we have a little bit more idea of what we're doing.
Been through some trial and error because we have quite a few bottles of stuff that you've picked up, and you can explain what it's all for.
Exactly. And we've done a few different things. We've tried a few different ones, and we've tried letting it go a little bit, like letting it go for a few days without doing anything, but still constantly getting in it. We've used it probably at least once a day, if not twice a day, for a while, for like 2 or 3 days without doing any chemicals to it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we ended up getting some bacteria and stuff in there, and it was really nasty. So
it was very
hence
cloudy.
why we're pulling the water out and putting new stuff in, sanitizing it, and
even the rule of showering before we get in, because like I get real sweaty at work. It'll be interesting to see when we're more diligent about cleaning.
Yeah.
Kind of what it will be like. And I like, because we have a lot of bug spray. We're outside all the time. Like.
Yeah. So I would highly recommend showering before and after. So shower before you get in. Wipe off your feet if you can, or with a hose or something before you step in.
We should get like a mat.
And then shower when you get out. Mainly so that like pets and stuff don't lick your skin, and it's not as hard on your skin. Chemicals sitting there.
It will dry you out.
But definitely shower before you get in. Hopefully the idea is, we'll find out soon, but the idea being that it won't take as long or as much maintenance. And like I said, we'll do another video with the chemicals soon. The top is a little frustrating, having to go around and unbuckle. And again, like in a place like we're at, if you had it on a deck, it'd be different. But like going around trying to unbuckle it, you're stepping in grass and mud and dirt and all sorts of grime. So being cognizant of that and trying to make sure that your feet are clean before you step in, make sure you shower, it hopefully will make a big difference.
That's part of the cool thing to discover. We know we want a bigger real one from now, and that'll be easier to
I mean, it's
open,
still
probably.
an issue, but it's a lot less of an issue.
Yeah,
you're right.
I think covers will fold back a bit easier.
Fold back, and if it's just you can almost like fold it halfway instead of taking it right off.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, they're so big and heavy that, not heavy, but heavier than this, that they're, they don't require as many snaps.
Yeah, they're sturdier.
Yeah. So.
But for convenience, this is excellent.
It's perfect. I'm really glad that we got it. Excuse me. And like I said, you can get bigger ones. If you got more people that typically want to get in. But this is great for you and I would say.
Oh yeah. You could get like 4 kids in here to relax, but they'll probably just want to play.
Yeah. But if you can get it up on a deck that's sturdy enough and clean enough, I'd recommend that. As long as it can support the weight and doesn't have anything underneath in case you get a leak or in case it falls down or whatever. But it's great. It's got drink holders. It's at 48 degrees right now Fahrenheit. And
48 now, and it's
about 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I have 17:07
on Wednesday, so we'll see
June 8th.
how long it takes to get heated up. We put it to 104. I'm gonna double check to make sure it is still. Yeah, so it's still at 104, and it's set to that temperature for like 900 and some hours. You can hold the button down for the hour temperature, like to set it for that temperature for however many hours. You can hold the up or down arrow to decide for how many hours you want that temperature to be held for. I don't know if we put that in the last video or not, but what I also found out is it'll go up to 999 hours. So if you're at 0 hours, if you're just starting out and you know that you want it at a certain temperature for a long time, you
all summer,
you want it to run non-stop, you can just hit the down arrow and it'll go to 999 hours instead of holding the button and waiting until you're 999.
Counting up.
Yeah, and then we'll do the chemical one. Okay. Love you. So it's a few days later, quite a few days later. We haven't used the hot tub since. We haven't done anything to it. So I'm just giving you the top footprint. Rinse off the stones a little bit so that that seat can stick up. And we're starting to get a little bit of rain, so it's not the best time to do this, but we finally got a chance to bring out the new vacuum.
Looks pretty clear.
So the filter, like, we haven't done anything to it since, so you can tell that the filter's doing its job. It's still, there's still some little bits at the bottom that we're going to vacuum up. We got a vacuum, so we'll show you that in a second. But you can see over there and right here.
It's hard to see on camera.
But it's nice and warm. It's a balmy 104 right now. So we're going to unlock it. Like I said, you don't have to push. Excuse my dirty hands, I was grinding yesterday. And then we're gonna shut off the heat, shut off the filtration system. we're gonna check this guy first. So that just twists off, and then you want to line up the little ticks at the hole, pull that out. So it can probably use a puck or two. So we use bromine. So a lot of these we don't know what they do exactly, but we have foam away for when the water gets a little foamy, especially when you're using the bubbles. You'll be able to tell it will foam up. It just means basically your water is dirty, so that should clean it up. This is a cartridge cleaner. Excuse me. They say to use it. I've heard once a week. I've heard once a month to take the filter out, just like we showed you. Put it in a bucket with a solution between water and this, and let it sit for a while, and then clean it off. Clear it. Kind of the same idea as this, except if there's no foam and it's just a little dirty, a little murky, put this in. Shock, you're supposed to use it a little bit after every use, but we've also heard to use it about once a week. So, but I think on the back it says to use it a little bit after every use. So.
Yeah, I think it's like a tablespoon after every use or something like that.
Yeah, and then a big treatment, maybe once a week. These are the spa tabs. These are the chlorine ones, and these are the bromine ones. From my understanding, they both act very similar to cleaning the water, making sure the water is, there's no bacteria and that kind of stuff in it. So we typically use bromine, because I think this guy no, this is chlorine free as well. So we have these if we need them, but we typically use these two. Spa Boost, so basically that's just a pH enhancer, pH boost. And then we have Spa Minus, which is just, it decreases the pH level. And then we have Alkaline, which I think kind of does the same thing as these guys, whether or not this is a... Yeah, so there is a, if you look over here, so this is total alkalinity, but basically if you're controlling your pH level, that'll automatically control your alkalinity. So again, sorry, excuse the dirty nails, but yeah, so...
Maybe flip that over.
What? This is just one that we use. You can pretty much use any tester that you want. So this one I think is kind of useless because we use these two. So, but right now all we're gonna do, and like I said, we're not professionals by any stretch of the imagination. This is brand new to us, but this is what we do. So we usually put 3 or 4 little pucks in, and basically I don't know why, but these pucks are bigger, so you can break them up if you want it, or you can kind of squish them in there. It just makes it a little tougher when you go to put this guy in. And twist it. There. And then, like I said, you want to, depending on how much you want to come out, so that's a little bit, that's a little more, that's a little more, and that's the most. On ours, there's 4. So it should dispense the most at a time, is the idea. And then I usually let the bubbles escape so I can see what I'm doing. And then all you do is screw it back on. And then the bottom guy twists off. I try to keep as much water in as I can so that the water level doesn't go down. Twist this guy off. Actually, I should have had a shower before I put my hands in there. But this pulls out. So you can tell that it's a little dirty just from the water being hose water or whatever was in there.
Mm-hmm.
See how it caught a few of the little tidbits that were in there?
Little buggies.
So I'll show you what I was talking about before. All you do is hose it down, trying to get in between each one if you can. And if it's really dirty, you'll be able to see it's turning white, and that way you'll know that it's being cleaned out. It's not too bad right now because, like I said, we haven't been in it since we changed the water.
It was a brand new filter.
And it was a brand new filter and brand new water. So, but this is how I do it. And then I usually try to get the inside of it a little bit. Just to make sure. I just turn them around so that I'm getting both sides of the little panels. It's not too bad right now, so I'm just doing a quick job, but you get the idea. You don't need a lot of hose pressure, but you can go as hard or as fast as you want, I think. And just try to have a look in between each to make sure that you're getting all the little cruds out, but also that you're cleaning each side of the whatever they're called, filter tabs or whatever. And then take off all that water, just so it doesn't. If you had just done the chemicals or whatever, it would make a difference. But we're gonna do the chemicals, so it doesn't really matter for us right now. And then take this guy, plop it in. Take this guy, put it through, line up your corners. Take this guy, and you punch it through and then twist it. And that locks it in place. I usually put it down, make the bubbles go away so I can see what I'm doing. A piece of grass there, I'll try to get, if I can nab it.
We have a skimmer net.
Yeah.
It's handy.
That's a good point. So then this guy just twists back on. Like so. And then you can turn this guy back on. So it's already, excuse me, you can see that it's already down to 97 degrees. We shut it off a couple of minutes ago and it's already down. So
it is cool out today too.
Unlock it. Yeah, it's probably what, 50
I don't know.
Celsius?
Feels colder than
15 degrees Celsius.
Oh.
Feels like 14. But it's very cloudy. It's a cloudy 15.
Yeah.
So we unlocked it. Now we're just gonna hit the heat, which automatically turns on your filtration system. So it's working again. Make sure we cover this before the rain comes. And wipe off my hands. So, whenever you do a test strip, You want to make sure that you're not letting any water touch it before it touches the water inside the hot tub. So try not to do it when it's raining. Make sure your hands are nice and dry. Close it back up as soon as you're done. And then all I do is take the test strip and dunk it in, swish it around a little bit, and then I just match up the colors. So right now our hardness is, I would say, okay. So it'll tell you right here what's low, what's high, and what's okay.
Kind of blurry, but you'll see on the bottle.
And it does that for all of them. Low, high, okay. Low, high, okay. Low, high, okay. And it's got it variables. So these two are okay. These two are okay. These two are okay. It even says on the bromine level what's okay and what's ideal.
Mm-hmm.
So right now our bromine level is, I would say, ideal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty self-explanatory. Purple matches with purple, yellowish green matches with yellowish green, green goes with green, and red goes with red, reddish orange. So alkalinity, I would say, is okay. And then our pH level is a little on the low side. It's right in like between low and okay, so it doesn't need a ton. We'll take Spa Boost.
Question. Should we vacuum before putting in chemicals so that you're not just sucking them up?
So we're gonna listen to the boss because she's right.
You can edit
We're
that
gonna take this ridiculously long stick, which we can shorten. So this is the, I don't know, what was it?
Telsa? Yeah, Telsa.
Telsa, whatever, 5,000 or something. This is, apparently it turns on when it gets submerged. It's rechargeable, and you can see that it's working.
Can you?
Yep. Can you get that on camera, or maybe not? See these ones, Steve?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for those.
Okay.
Actually, see if you can get this guy first. See him?
Yeah, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but that's okay.
So it just sucks it right up. It actually works really well.
Nice.
Clear a little bit, and then I'll go for those guys.
Mm-hmm.
So you can tell there's some little specks of dirt, and they're gone. Little specks of dirt all along the side there, and they're gone. So when you're doing this,
Oh, I think it even got the ones from like the lip.
yeah. I would imagine that you want to make sure you go along, like Stacy said, the lip. Because there's lots of spots for little dirt and debris to hide in. And I would imagine you want to go slow, try to get in all the little
Crevices?
crevices, cracks. And then, I don't know, if this one's strong enough to really pick up any algae or anything like that, but
I feel like if anything, it's good that you're loosening it up so then
Yeah.
it'll be available for the shock and chemicals.
yeah,
My dad used to do that with the pool, like stir it up and then give it a shock.
yeah. So, Just want to go through, give the bottom a good scrape.
It's a lot cleaner than I was anticipating.
Yeah, me too. Where?
Just right there, tiny little speck. Yeah.
Good?
I think so. There wasn't really much in there, so.
And then just let it, as much water come back into the pool as possible, in the spa as possible. And then,
Can I scoop
so
it?
it automatically shuts up. Huh? Yeah, so Stacy's got a little spa skimmer. So she's gonna go along in case there's any little hairs, or I see one guy there. Oh, hang on.
Yeah, just where it stirred it up, which was great. So it makes things available.
And then basically all you have to do is twist this off, pull this little filter out, and you can see all the little nasty cruds and stuff that it got. So
That's impressive.
It's obviously working.
Yeah.
And we'll clean that off camera. Actually, what I might even be able to do is I'm just going to spray it with the hose while you're showing the skim thing. So all I'm going to do is spray it with this guy. See if I can spray them out.
Yeah.
Push this out and give this a whirl. So that's all I'm going to do off camera while Stacy's showing the skim. And then this guy, it's nice and clean again. Just goes back in like that. This twists on again. Oop.
It wasn't too dirty, but are you pleased?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so this guy just twists, and you plug in the recharging system. It's just a little USB thing, little USB cord. Plugs into there, and it charges up actually quite quickly. And then make sure you twist it back before it goes back into the water.
Smart to probably let it dry with it closed.
Yeah, and these are, you can take these out, so I'm going to probably shorten this a bit.
But that's as long as it goes, which is
Yeah.
at least 6 feet, it looks like.
Yeah. So we're going to take
Yes, it was low. It was
pH
too acidic.
boost or spa boost. So they're called different things. It says spa boost. Some of them say pH boost, but you can tell it says raises the pH.
Yeah.
So again, you want to make sure your hands are nice and dry. Some people will use a little spoon. So you just want to do a little bit and then check it again. I'm going to put a little more than what I usually do because I'm going to boost it as well. And then we'll check it again later off camera.
Before we use it.
Yes, before we use it, exactly. So,
And it'll give it time to mix in.
so this guy, it says not to use the spa for 15 minutes after you treat it. Probably need to put some more pH in. and the shock just helps to make sure that your water is nice and clean. So now it's back up to 102.
With the cover off, that's pretty fast.
Yeah. And there's like a chilly rain in the air, a little breeze. So basically now what we're gonna do is, I don't know if you can see on camera, but it all settled at the bottom. So we're gonna turn on our jet system, or air bubbles, to try to get the chemicals up and moving a little bit. So unlock it, bubbles. Usually we'll let it settle, and you can tell when it gets dirty, all those little bubbles will kind of stay and it'll be really foamy. So that's usually when you use the foam away, clear it both. Where it's outside and we don't have a cover, like a structure cover, like a tent or something, or a overhang from a house, if you're on a deck, you're gonna get lots of little fuzzies. Especially because we're right in the middle of grass that we mow.
The country.
So I'll let it settle, and then once it looks like it's settled again, I'll usually turn the bubbles back on for a second time. And then put the cover back on, and we'll leave it, let it sit for at least 15 minutes. Hours will probably be a few hours. And then we'll come back to it and check it again. Stacy's parents are coming down this weekend, so we wanted to make sure that it was nice clean water for them. That's why we haven't touched it in a few days. We want to make sure that it's nice and clean and healthy. And I think, I don't remember which day it was that we were doing it, but I remember we had said what day it was and what time it was. And it was the following day at about 6 p.m. I had checked it, and it was 104. So I think it was about 26 hours or something, if I remember correctly, is what it took to go from whatever it was, 47 degrees or something, to 104. So it's really not that bad. I find that it kind of goes about like 2 degrees for every hour.
It was warmer out.
Yeah, and we are on an extension cord. If you plug it directly in, typically it makes, from what I hear, it makes a bit of a difference. But we are also on a 12 gauge extension cord, so it's a pretty heavy duty extension cord. So right now it's sitting at 100. just from the top being off, but it won't take long. I bet you another hour or two and it'll be right back up to 104. Yeah, vacuum. It's from Canadian Tire. It's called Telsa. It doesn't have a ton of sucking power, but obviously it works great for our little setup here. I know that we're not the best at the chemical stuff, but that's what we've learned thus far, and that's what we do.